Hey guys, welcome back to For I Have Sinned. My name is Jess,
And this is Lauren.
and we're back with episode 29, and I actually remembered to write it down this time.
Yay, I'm so proud of you. I had I had Spotify open just in case we didn't know what episode it was.
I just need to write it down every time now. Um, well, it's my turn this week, but before I start, we wanted to talk about our Patreon. We really would love you guys to become one of our patrons. We are going to be recording content that is just exclusively for Patreon. Nobody else can hear it but patrons. So you guys should
Just
do
for
that
you.
just for you,
Just for
all for
you.
you.
Yeah. Consider
Uh,
yourself special.
exactly. Um, Yeah, it's patreon.com/for I have sinned pod. And I've said this before, but we have different tiers that you could join. One is just a shout out, and then it goes to um, early access and exclusive content, and then all the way up to you can record an episode with us and
Oh
merch.
yeah, yeah.
So,
And like there's another tier where you could pick which case we cover, which is
yep.
kind of cool too. So check it out. There's a lot of stuff. There's something for everybody.
Something for everybody.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm just going to get going.
All right.
Um, Today I am covering Ricardo Lopez, who was the Bjork stalker.
Whoa, okay.
Do you know a lot about this?
I do not.
Okay, it's pretty fucking disturbing.
Whoa.
Yeah, this case disturbed me. I guess it was a few years ago now. I watched a documentary, and I'll talk about that more because it'll give away some of it, but
Okay.
it's super disturbing. Also, I am a huge, huge Bjork fan. Like,
Okay.
I love her so much. She's probably my favorite female artist. I'm absolutely obsessed with her. I think she is brilliant. I think she's like a little garden fairy. Like,
So is it you? Is
I
it
am the Bjork stalker.
Spoiler alert.
This is my story.
That's awesome.
Oh God. All right. So, in Hollywood, Florida, on September 16th, 1996, a manager of an apartment complex sees something coming out of the walls of apartment A. It was blood.
Oh,
Yeah. Police were called and entered the apartment. Immediately, they noticed the body of Ricardo Lopez off to the left. He was very badly decomposed and had red and green grease paint all over his face. Yeah. They see a video camera and strange and vulgar writings on the wall, including quote unquote best of me and quote unquote N word lover.
whoa.
Yeah. There are pictures of a beautiful woman everywhere, but the police did not recognize her because I guess they didn't watch MTV back in the day, but it was Bjork.
Losers.
Yeah, exactly. And that's when MTV was good too.
Yeah, she wore the fucking swan dress.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Her videos were always fucking
yeah.
on point. Um, so Lopez, who was 21, had been dead for 4 days by suicide. He shot himself. The video camera eyepiece had the same grease paint on it that Lopez had all over his face. They find what ends up being 22 hours of recorded videotape documenting Lopez's life. So Lopez's family came from the US from Uruguay. Did I say that right? Because I hear people say that differently all the time.
I
Uruguay, Uruguay.
Oh,
I don't know.
I've always heard it said Uruguay.
Okay, cool.
Let us know if we
Yeah,
butchered that,
yes,
please.
please. I feel like there's always I'm butchering a name or a place every single time, whatever. So Lopez was actually very bright, but ends up dropping out of high school to work on his art. He gets a job as an exterminator. In his videos, he talks about how little he thinks of himself. He's self conscious about his looks, his weight, and the fact that he has gynecomastia, which is I think how you pronounce it.
Oh,
Which,
yes, it
if
is.
anybody doesn't know, that's a hormone imbalance that causes male breast tissue to swell. So he's got titties.
He's got man
He's
boobs.
got man titties. He, in the video he calls himself a pig. Like he's super down on himself.
That's kind of sad.
Yeah.
Especially back then though, this was what, like 96?
It starts around like 93, 93-ish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So people were definitely not as accepting of different body types back then too. I
Yeah.
feel like it because we've come so far as a society and we still have a lot of work to do,
Oh yeah.
but being fat or just having a different body shape, like it's okay to even identify as fat. Like like I have friends that they identify as fat girls and that's
Mhm.
fine. They're not using it as they're owning it. That's
It's
their
not
word
a
now.
it shouldn't be an offensive word. It shouldn't be
Right.
a word to try and make someone feel bad.
Right.
But also at the time, this was like when emaciated models were walking down the runway and
Yes.
super fit guys, not like super muscular, but cut.
Just like and like thinner too, like
Yeah.
guys. Then even if you look at like the boy bands and stuff, which this wasn't until a little bit later on, but even the guys in the boy bands were all slim, and that was very much like if you were anything outside of being slim, you were considered fat and you were made fun of. So I'm sure
Mhm.
this guy, I mean, I had guy friends that one of my guy friends had surgery because he was so self-conscious of his gynecomastia. And
Mhm.
even though, like, our close friends didn't bother him about it, I think he was really, really just tortured about it at some point, and he went and had surgery because he was
Yeah.
so bothered by it.
Yeah.
So it's important to remember, like, it kind of sounds like, oh, why would he be so upset by that? But it was a different world that
Yeah.
many years ago.
Yeah. And I mean, it's not known whether he was bullied or not, but
Mm,
just, I mean, I had body weight issues so
yeah,
badly up until maybe, um, I don't know, I hit 30.
yeah.
I was when I was about 24, 25. If I look back now, I had, by society standards, a good body, but
Hmm.
I thought that I was fat.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember I had an ex-boyfriend. When I broke up with him, he would call me fat.
Yeah,
And I look back and I'm like, my body was like what was, you know, acceptable at the time.
yeah,
And
yeah.
now I had two kids, so right now I'm a little overweight, but like I have no issue with it whatsoever.
Absolutely. Yeah. Even for me too. Like I was like I was like 280 at one point. Now I'm 5'9", 5'10", so I'm a taller person, but that's still pretty heavy. I was getting
Oh,
up
are you
towards
that tall?
300.
I never realized you were
Yeah.
that tall.
Yes, I'm a big bitch.
I'm like 5'8", so I'm close.
Yeah. Um and I lost a lot of weight. I dieted, I exercised, whatever. I got down to 165 and I still thought I was fat. So
Yeah.
it just, like body issues are always going to be a thing and it can really, really change your behavior. When you feel that down about yourself, it can really fuck you up, man.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I remember when I said that I had, like, by society standards, a good body. If I gained a few pounds, I was so depressed and upset.
Yeah.
And then, if when my ex-boyfriend would call me fat, like I was so upset about it, so offended by it. And now I'm just like,
Fuck you, bro.
yeah, like
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
So yeah, I mean, and also kids and even adults are just assholes.
Hmm.
So
Yep. Yep.
anyway, so since he's so down on himself, he's never really had any experience with a woman. He keeps to himself. He's always in his apartment. And remember, this is Florida. He didn't have air conditioning in his apartment.
Oh.
It's just like got to be a sauna in there. Actually, in a lot of the videos, he is just naked in them.
Oh.
Yeah, it's weird, but
Okay.
I mean, I guess I get it if it's that hot in the
Yeah.
apartment. So during this time, he becomes immersed in reading about celebrities. Early in his written diary, he writes about having a crush on Gina Davis, and then that ends when he finds out that she gets married.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. I mean, at least he's respecting the marriage
yeah,
in his
I
stalker
yeah,
activities.
yeah.
All right.
I mean, obviously, right there you can tell, even though he doesn't like go crazy with Gina Davis, you can tell that because she's married now, she's like, oh, I don't like her anymore. Like
Yeah.
as if he was going to have a
Had a
chance with her, you
chance.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So one day, I believe he was at a friend's house and they were watching MTV, and he sees the music video for Human Behavior by Bjork, which is one of my favorite music videos. I think it's by it's either Michelle Gondry or Chris Cunningham or Spike Jones, one of those three.
Yeah.
Um, anyway, 18-year-old Lopez thinks she is so beautiful, and he'd never seen any woman who looks quite like her. Bjork, who's from Iceland, was a new artist on TV on MTV at the time, but became famous for her haunting voice and unique face. She had been a musician for a long time. She was, in the 80s, she sang vocals for the Sugar Cubes. But then she moved to London to pursue a solo career. So in the beginning of the video diaries, Lopez describes her as as a cute, innocent, sweet, and shy thing. He also talks about how he's attracted to her because she's very childlike.
Oh,
She's
that's
got like
fucking
childlike
creepy.
looks. Yeah. So I mean, I
And she's like very petite and she has like small features.
yes,
So I could see how she would be described that way, and that makes it even fucking creepier.
yeah. And yeah, she is very unique looking. She's
Mm-hmm.
like I said, she reminds me of like a little like garden fairy or something,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So she inspires him to make artwork, including a sculpture of her head, and it really looks like her. It's
Really?
yeah, like he's a good artist. He's just a creep though.
Yeah.
Um also so he's 18 when he first finds out about her, and she's like, she looks so young,
Yeah.
but she's actually around 28 at this time.
Right.
And he's kind of like disappointed by that for some reason, that she's 28. Sorry, I just had to adjust myself. I'm uncomfortable.
Oh,
So then in his videos, he states that he's in love and infatuated with her, and talks a lot about her quote unquote innocence and purity, as if he knows.
you're right.
On video, a naked Lopez talks about his fantasies of just holding her and not doing much more than that. Uh, he says multiple times that he doesn't even want to have sex with her. He just wants to please her. He wants to like nurture her, which is weird too. I don't
Yeah.
know. There's just
And he
something.
and he's naked while he's saying all of this, which
Yeah,
is like,
yeah. He also has a tiny peepee.
wow.
I think if I remember correctly. Um, so Lopez sent Bjork fan mail and of some of his paintings that he made of her, and he counted the days that he would not get a response. Every day he was just like, why haven't I gotten a response? Why haven't I gotten a response? Because she's fucking Bjork, and
She
you're not
doesn't care about
necessarily
you, bro.
right, right. His fantasies are now becoming reality. In his diary, he writes about being ignored by Bjork, and he says, if she'd just written back just once, I would have been happy, but like I don't see how that could be true. Even if she did write back,
It wouldn't have been good enough.
no. Then it would have been like, oh, she wrote back. Now I have to send her more stuff, or now I
Mhm.
have to fly to London. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. Eventually, Lopez sl- slowly becomes angry when reading news articles about Bjork and also from some of her lyrics because he fears she may not be the innocent and pure creature he made her out to be. He feels threatened the first time he hears her song Big Time Sensuality and thinking about her having sex with someone else. I mean, she this is just completely delusional that I mean,
Yeah.
she's been married, she has a son, she's
Yeah.
28. I mean, did he
Yeah.
think that she was like a nun or something, you know?
And also that song is not graphic
No, but
at
just
all.
I guess the lyrics, allude to,
Right.
having sex, but whatever, you know?
She's allowed to.
Yeah, exactly.
That's like some weird obsessive incel shit.
Yeah, yeah. He's like part of him reminds me of like Elliot Rogers, even though the situation is totally different, but you know who Elliot Rogers is, right? The one that
No.
yeah, you do. If it was a few years ago, the college kid that like I think it was like in Isla Vista or something like that in California, and he he made like YouTube videos talking about why don't women want to be with me, and then he went on like a killing spree, a shooting spree. You don't remember
Oh,
this? It was
I
just
don't
a
re
few years ago.
vaguely, very vaguely.
He wrote like a
Like a
manifesto.
manifesto. Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I do.
So
Yeah.
it's like this whole thing where these guys think, okay, this girl doesn't like me, so now I'm gonna have a fucking temper tantrum and do something terrible, you know?
Mhm.
Ugh. It's
Yeah, it's
whatever.
scary.
Yeah.
And it's our fault.
Right. 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 So in June of 1996, Lopez reads an article in Spin magazine about Bjork having a boyfriend. She was dating UK drum and bass producer Goldie, who I also love, by the way.
Yeah.
Um, Goldie has African American ancestry. I believe he's half black. This fucking infuriates
Oh.
Lopez. In his videos, he uses racial slurs to describe Goldie. He says something like, it's like, she has a boyfriend. It's a guy named Goldie, a fucking black guy. And he says something like, once you go black, you never go back, like something like that. Yeah. And he uses racial
Jeez.
slurs, and
Of
he's a
course.
piece of shit racist.
Yep.
So he writes in his diary that he wants to inflict his pain onto Bjork as he begins to slowly unravel. He shows off books on forensics and true crime. After analyzing this documentation, Dr. Louis Schlesinger, who's a forensic psychologist at John Jay College of Criminal Justice, says that Lopez was struggling for years with sexual inadequacy.
Oh.
Obviously.
Yep. That makes sense.
Yeah. So Lopez starts losing grip with reality and he starts comparing himself to well known celebrity stalkers. Because of Lopez's quote unquote rejection from Bjork, he decides he needs to do something about it. In one of his videos, he states, I'm just going to have to kill her. I'm going to send a package. I'm going to be sending her to hell. Yeah, yeah. Originally, Lopez wanted to construct a bomb filled with hypodermic needles that contain HIV infected blood. But he didn't have HIV.
So, biological warfare.
Yeah, yep.
Cool.
He didn't have HIV. He was an exterminator. He didn't have access to HIV infected.
Syringes.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like, how on earth would he obtain this?
You know what would be worse? Send somebody bed bugs.
Yeah, that would be pretty bad.
Honestly, that's a really fucked up way. I've thought about it. I had bed bugs one time and I was like,
Oh
man,
no.
if I really didn't like somebody, I'd probably send them a box of bed bugs. It
I
won't kill
I
them, but it'll make them very upset.
I've never had them, but
Oh,
I remember
God.
I had a friend who had them in her apartment, and she was just like so fucking frustrated and pissed
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
So I can
Yeah.
only imagine.
It that's like psychological warfare.
Yeah,
That should make you fucking crazy. Anyway,
that
just a
would
thought,
be
since he's an
that would be
exterminator,
good.
that would have made more sense, but anyway.
Yeah, yeah. So, like I said, he didn't have HIV,
Yeah.
and he soon realized it would not be feasible to build such a device.
Wow.
So, he then changed his plan to constructing a letter bomb filled with sulfuric acid. He took a large book, I think it was like a big like a counting book,
Okay.
and he hollowed out the middle. The device was designed to explode and kill or at least disfigure Bjork as she opened the book. And he also stated in one of the videos that he doesn't care who opens it, like what if it's Bjork. Like he talks about if Bjork's son ends up opening it, like oh well,
Yeah.
you know. So
That's what she gets for having a kid with another man.
yeah,
Like, that's how,
and for
like,
dating a black guy, or
yeah,
you know,
jeez, that's how, like, fucking demented his train of thought is.
yeah,
Like, oh, well.
yeah. So he records footage of himself testing the bomb with water, and it is successful. He tested again by adding ink to the water so he can see how much damage it will potentially cause. This shit sprays all over the fucking place.
Wow.
Yeah. Like, I mean, this dude is a smart guy,
Right.
except for that HIV infected blood plan. But
Yeah.
I mean, he builds this, and at
Yeah.
the time, in the internet, I doubt he even had the internet then. He was in this like one room, filthy fucking apartment.
Yeah.
No air conditioner. I doubt he had a computer. So
Mm.
he built this, and I'm not saying kudos to him for being so smart, but I mean he's a smart dude.
Right. It just, yeah, people like that, it makes you wonder, like, what if you use your intelligence for something positive instead of
Right,
something negative? It's kinda, yeah,
right,
makes you wonder.
yeah. So then he decides that he's going to commit suicide after mailing the bomb to Bjork's London home. He paid someone to get her address, which was fairly easy back then. You could get people. Didn't the DMV not have, like, you could just go to the DMV and get somebody's address, basically?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, and I mean, I think he had to pay. I don't know if it was like a private detective or what, but he paid someone. He got her address.
Yeah.
Um, by committing suicide, he hoped that him and Bjork would be united in heaven.
Oh.
Yes. If
Okay.
he
Well, that
if
makes
he
sense.
Yeah, and I mean, if he also has his family. He was brought up Jehovah's Witness, and I guess he kind of left that, but he has like some kind of warped religious beliefs with like sprinkled in a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And
Right.
I mean, by any type of religion or Christian religion, you don't go to heaven if you commit suicide and
Or kill somebody,
right,
or
try to kill
yeah.
somebody. Yeah. So he's he's just fucking, I don't have
Not
words for him.
yeah, he's not all there.
No. At this point, he lets himself go. He's just like eating like shit. He's drinking all the time. Oh, that was another thing that he was disappointed about with Bjork early on, was that I guess he read an article that she was talking about that she did have an alcohol problem at one point, and that really bothered him because he believed that alcoholism was like would lead to like worshiping the devil or something like that. I mean,
Oh.
but meanwhile now he's drinking every day. So
So he could do whatever the fuck he wants, but
Yeah,
she can't.
right.
Yeah, that's sounds
Y-
about right.
Yeah. So the apartment is just, you can see in the background, the apartment is just fucking filthy. It's fucking filthy. Um so on the morning of September 12th, 1996, Lopez began filming his final video diary entry. He titled the tape Last Day Ricardo Lopez. The tape starts with Lopez preparing to bring the package to the post office. He talks about how nervous he is and that if he aroused suspicion, he would immediately kill himself rather than be arrested. He did buy a gun. He was able to get the gun pretty easily. I think it was something like he had to wait 2 days to pick it up or something.
Florida, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Um, so so the filming resumes after Lopez returns from the post office. Bjork's music plays in the background, and a nude Lopez shaves his head and paints his face red and green. I don't know the significance of the red and green.
Like Christmas.
Actually, I do kind of have a theory which I'll explain at the end.
Okay.
So while examining himself in the mirror, he tells the camera, "I'm a little nervous now. I'm definitely not drunk. I am not depressed. I know exactly what I'm doing. The gun is cocked back. It's ready to roll." As Bjork's song I Remember You finishes playing, Lopez shouts, "This is for you." He puts the gun into his mouth and takes several deep breaths, and then he pulls the trigger.
Jeez.
Lopez groans and his body slumps out of the camera's range. Behind him, hung on the wall, is a hand-painted sign with the words "The Best of Me, September 12th." Police theorize that Lopez intended to cover the sign with his blood and brain matter with the gunshot. And I wonder if he thought maybe the red and green paint would get on there too.
Oh,
Because,
okay.
he is an artist.
Yeah. Well, you got to use a shotgun for that, buddy.
Yeah,
A
yeah,
pistol ain't gonna cut it.
yeah. So when police discovered his body, they found a message written on the wall stating the 8mm videos are documentation of a crime, terrorist matter. They are for the FBI. After viewing the final tape, police contacted Scotland Yard in the United Kingdom to warn them about the letter bomb and that it was en route to Bjork's residence in London. The package had yet to be delivered, and the Metropolitan Police were able to intercept it from a South London post office, and it was safely detonated.
Wow.
Also, it ended up that there was a very low chance that it would have gotten to Bjork even if it wasn't intercepted because all of her mail had been um like it would go through several security points before it actually got to her. So
Okay.
it's highly unlikely she would have
Even
gotten it.
gotten it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't believe it made it overseas. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah. And well, I mean, he was in the apartment for a few days rotting before anybody found him.
Right, right,
So
right.
it does take a few days to
To go. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. That's crazy.
I mean, if she was in America, it would have gotten there, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, she had people checking her mail and stuff like that. Um Unbeknownst to Lopez, Bjork and Goldie ended their relationship just a few days before he mailed the bomb and killed himself.
Oh shit. He could have had a chance.
Yeah, I know. What are
Oh
you doing,
man.
Ricardo?
Jeez.
Yeah. So Bjork made a statement expressing how distressed she was by the incident. She said, "It's terrible, very terrible. It's a very sad thing that someone would shoot his face off." And I don't know why. I just think that's really fucking weird. But
Yeah. I wonder if that's because like she's not a native English
that's what I
speaker,
was gonna
so
say.
yeah.
English is not her first language.
Yeah.
Um, so she actually sent a card and flowers to Lopez's family, which
Aw.
I think that is very sweet, but I don't know if that would, depending on how, like, I don't know, the way his family is, they could possibly take that as like it's her fault that he's dead, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's still, I mean, I love that she did that. either way.
That's more than that's more than most other celebrities would do,
Yeah,
honestly,
yeah,
especially back then.
yeah. So later, Bjork hired a security guard for her son Sindri, who escorted him to school every day. And a year after the incident, she said in an interview, I was very upset that somebody had died. I couldn't sleep for a week. I'd be lying if I said it didn't scare the fuck out of me that I could get hurt, and most of all, that my son could get hurt. Lopez's family and friends were aware of his obsession with Bjork, but maintained they had no idea that he was capable of such dark thoughts or violence. His brother did say that at one point he said he saw that Lopez was just completely obsessed with her and fixated on her, and he said to her, "You're not going to be with her. Find a real woman."
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I was actually gonna say, because when you mentioned that she sent a card to his family, I was gonna say, I wonder if they knew about his obsession. So
Yeah,
that's
they
that.
knew, but
Not to that extent, I
right.
guess.
Right.
Yeah.
So in the 70-minute documentary, The Video Diary of Ricardo Lopez, was released in the year 2000. The film is a condensed version of Lopez's 22-hour video diary edited by Sam Safe. I watched that documentary. I didn't realize that's what it was, but a few years ago I was reading about this case and I found it online, and well, I'm guessing that's what I watched. But it's about almost 2 hours of the um some of the videotape and or videotapes, because I remember it was 22 hours of videotape.
Right. So they condensed it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it was just disturbing as hell. It is so disturbing when he puts the paint on his face
Yeah.
and he's like shaved his head. He's just making fucking weird scary faces at the camera, and it's definitely one of the most disturbing things I've seen.
You're
And
basically watching somebody have a psychotic break.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean, the FBI released the footage to the media, like to journalists and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So it's not hard to find.
Yeah.
And at the end they show him shoot himself in the head, and
Damn.
it is so creepy. Part of me feels bad for this guy, but the other part of me is just like, you're just a sick piece of shit.
Right.
And I mean, he did even agree to see, because he at one point he went to visit his family in Uruguay, and his mom noticed that he seemed like depressed or just kind of off, and she made him promise that he would get some help. And then there was
Sure.
another occasion, uh he was at his apartment and he was up like all night long, all the time. So one night around like 5:30 a.m., one of his friends shows up at his apartment. He was probably drunk or something, and he comes in, and Lopez is in the middle of like building this bomb, and he sees all this crazy shit,
Yeah.
the friend does, and somehow his the friend's brother ends up there, and I think they they said that if he doesn't do something, like they're going to call the police on him or something. So he agrees to go to a psychiatrist and a therapist, but then he decides that he doesn't want therapy. He just wants pills, like give him
Yeah.
pills. So he gets prescribed, I think, just an antidepressant and
Yeah.
Klonopin for anxiety.
Yeah.
But he would take it very erratically, and he said that the Klonopin made him too tired.
That's what it
So,
does.
right. But
Yeah.
actually, Klonopin is
If you
one,
really need it, it
but
doesn't.
that's one that's a slow release. Like that, that's not like a Xanax. A Xanax, like I used to take half of a point 0.5 anytime
Mhm.
I would fly,
Mhm.
and that would just knock me out for the whole flight. And then for the rest of the day, I'd just be like, whew, you know.
Mhm.
But Klonopin, I know, is a slow release, like that lasts over 12 hours. It's not going to hit you the way a Xanax would. And either way, I mean, maybe the first time you take it, it makes you tired. I don't know.
My
But
grandma used to take it, and it made her like a zombie.
really, I mean, I get,
Yeah,
you know
but
what
she
else
was
though?
on a pretty heavy dose too, though.
Oh,
She
okay.
was,
Well,
yeah.
yeah, that makes a difference too. But also, I mean, people respond differently to, like, me and you could be taking the same medicine and you could have a great time on it and I could be completely just miserable on it and get every side effect possible, which is
Yeah.
so crazy. But
I've taken Xanax, and I've taken it twice. Doesn't do anything to me. Does
wow.
nothing. Yeah,
When
nothing.
I used to take it years ago also when I would get panic attacks and it
Mhm.
wouldn't make me um tired or out of it. It would just calm me down.
Yeah.
But when I would take it to fly, because I hate flying, I fucking hate it, even though I've done it so many times.
Mhm.
But I would take it about a half hour before I'd get on the plane, before I can have the chance to get a panic attack on the plane. But it would
Sure.
just knock me out for the whole flight. And it was just kind of one of those feelings where it's just like I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Whatever. If we crash, we crash,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah. It doesn't I took it because I really fucking hate going to the dentist. Like, that's the one thing I'm a total pussy about.
yeah.
Even talking about the dentist, I'll start sweating. So
Aw.
I took my mom gave me, I don't even know how much it was, but it wasn't much because 'cause I'd never taken it before, and I think it was like a point 0.5.
Yeah, that's like usually what they give you. I mean, you
Okay.
need you need I think four of those to equal a whole.
A bar
Yeah.
or whatever. Yeah, okay, so that's what I took, and it didn't do anything.
Oh
Nothing.
wow.
It didn't make me tired, didn't do anything. But I have, like, weird reactions to shit anyway. But it's just weird because, um, people will say how it helps them so much, and for me, it doesn't do shit. Doesn't
Yeah,
do anything.
Xanax is just it's rough. I mean, people. I
I've
understand
heard
because
it, like, makes you feel like you're drunk.
I wouldn't say that. It just because it doesn't make. I don't know. I mean, just speaking from experience, when if I get a little drunk, like I want to dance, I want to laugh, I want to socialize, but that just kind of made me like, I don't care. Whatever
Mm.
happens, happens. Like,
Yeah, no, not for me. Nothing.
yeah. I mean, it's just also very, you know, people would become dependent on it.
Oh, yeah, it's habit forming.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I mean, I haven't taken one of those in since, I mean, probably in over 10 years. But,
Yeah.
um, yeah,
But you also know other things that you can try to use to help yourself feel
right,
better. It seems like this guy didn't wanna put in any of the effort to help himself feel better at all.
right,
He didn't wanna do therapy. He got meds, but he didn't wanna even take his meds regularly, so he was really not doing anything to help himself, and he had the means to, so that's,
right.
like,
And
very frustrating.
he did like an intake form when he went to see a psychiatrist and he lied on a lot of it. So this guy, it shouldn't have been an antidepressant that he was on because it was a
Yeah.
lot more than depression, you
Sure.
know?
Yep.
Um, I mean, he was delusional, obsessive,
Yeah.
you know, feeling thoughts of violence and
Mhm.
wanted to kill someone and
Yeah.
himself,
Right.
suicidal.
Right.
So it's just it's so crazy, but at least they were able to intercept it. Again, Bjork most likely wouldn't have gotten it anyway, but
Mhm.
still, I mean, you never know.
Yeah.
Um, if somebody saw that book and just said, "Oh, somebody sent you a book," maybe she would have opened the book.
Yeah.
That is I mean, to send a bomb filled with sulfuric acid too. That is just
There's a lot of effort that goes into that
yeah,
because, like you said, it wasn't like now where information was so easily available. So he had to figure out how to make this bomb. Then he had to figure out how to package it. He had to get her address. He had to go to the post office and send it. Like, there's a lot of, it wasn't like this was just an easy thing for him to do.
right.
There was a lot of planning, there was a lot of preparation, and there was a lot of effort that went into this whole thing. And also the implications that come along with it. I mean, you're sending a fucking bomb to another country. That
Yeah.
is like, that's a big time crime that you're committing. Like, there's
Yeah.
this
It's
it's a
it's
pretty big deal.
terrorism. It's
Yeah.
terrorism.
Yeah.
It's just so scary.
Yeah.
And you know, to be to I've read about so many celebrity stalkers when researching this. Do you know Gwyneth Paltrow had a stalker or has
Yeah.
a stalker for like 17 years or something like
Yes.
that?
That one I did know.
And then he ended up, I think he maybe was put in jail or something, but
Yeah, I
then
think they finally
or
caught
no,
him.
they didn't he didn't get charged or he didn't get he wasn't found guilty because he was saying how he didn't want to hurt her, he just wanted to like meet her or something like that, so they just let
Hmm.
him go. But then I think he kept on stalking her and uh
Yeah.
and then there's that one girl, I think her name was Brenda Schaefer, who was she was a she was a she was on a sitcom in the 80s. I think it was my sister Sam or something like that. And she was, I don't know, she was in like a TV movie, I think, and she was actually auditioning for uh she was called to audition for a role in like The Godfather Part 3, and she had this stalker who would, I think she was in LA and he was in maybe actually Arizona maybe. And
Okay.
uh or somewhere or maybe Nevada, I don't know, I don't remember. But he hired a private detective to find her address, and at the time she was, she wasn't big yet, but she was up and coming. And so she lived in like just this really nice apartment complex, and he went to her apartment and her intercom was broken. So she went down and she spoke to him and she was very nice to him. And then he left and then went back and said he wanted to give her a letter or something. So she came down and he shot her right there.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look up because I'd never heard about that.
I think his name was something Bardo, Michael Bardo, Robert Bardo. Brenda Schaefer is her name, was her name. And she
Brenda.
was only like 21 too.
N- This is, was it Kentucky? It was in Kentucky?
Mm-mm.
Then this is somebody else that
I think
was
that's her name. Brenda Schaefer. Um, let's see. Brenda Schaefer. I'm googling it.
Goog it. I Googled it and like some political person came up and then I spelled it differently and then some other lady came up that was killed by her
Oh,
ex-boyfriend.
right. That's Mel. I'm getting cases mixed up. That's Mel Ignato or Ignito or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Wow, that's weird. Oh, what was her name? Maybe it was Kelly. It's Kelly Schaefer. Wait,
Okay.
no, wait.
All
I could
right.
be wrong.
Oh, okay. Kelly
Hold
Schaefer.
on.
Hold
Let's
on.
see.
There is a
This
Kelly Schaefer.
celebrity stalker. Let's see. Oh, why can't I find this girl? And why can't I remember her name? Celebrity stalker who killed. Sorry, guys. Just hang with us for a second.
We're having a little Google sesh here.
Yeah. Okay, Rebecca Schaefer.
Okay, well, you
Rebecca
were
Schaefer.
close.
It was a Schaefer.
Yeah.
And it was Robert John Bardo that shot and killed her.
My sister Sam, yeah, that was the show she was on. You were
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah. And she was so young.
She was so cute.
I know. And then who was the girl that she on like American Idol or something?
This fucking guy that killed her.
Oh, he's so creepy looking.
I
I
just want
know.
to fucking kick him in the face.
I know.
American Idol.
I don't know if she was on American Idol. She was on one of those, maybe The Voice, but she did like a tour, and I think it was actually down in Florida. I think it was maybe in Orlando. Um, it was Christina something, and she had a stalker, and he came to her signing and shot her and killed her.
Oh shit.
Christina something.
I feel like I do remember that.
It wasn't super long ago. I want to say it was sometime
The
in the 2000s or 2010s. Christina Grimmie,
voice. Yeah, Grimmy, yeah. The voice.
The Voice. Okay.
2016.
Oh wow, it was. I thought it was before that, maybe. But yeah, I remember that. Was it Orlando?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that because I was still living in Florida then.
Yeah.
Damn. That's
Yeah, and
fucking
I remember hearing a lot about it because I'm only about an hour from Orlando.
okay.
Yeah. But it's got to be fucking scary to be a celebrity.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know, regular people get stalkers too.
I had a stalker.
One of my best friends had a stalker, and he used to like look in her windows in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
And anytime I would stay at her house, I'd be like, I don't want to fucking stay here, if
Yeah,
you have a
definitely.
stalker.
Yeah.
But
I have like an internet stalker, which is
I have an internet stalker too.
yeah, I just block them. If I had like an actual in-person stalker, I'm actually not going to say anything because I don't want it to be used in a future case against me, but that's all I'll say.
Soon I will be telling your story, Lauren.
That's it. You better make it a good episode. Lots of jokes.
Yes. Um, but yeah, so that was Ricardo Lopez, the Bjork stalker, and
Fucking weird, man.
he's a fucking piece of shit. Was a fucking piece of
Uh,
shit. And yeah, I mean,
that was a good one. I didn't know about that story. I knew about the Gwyneth Paltrow stalker because that was a pretty big. That's been going on for
that
so.
was yeah, and that's more recent too. Like
Mhm.
the Bjork stalker that was in early mid 90s,
Mhm.
and there really isn't, even if you look on YouTube, there's not a ton. There's one um documentary about it. Uh what is the show that Diane Sawyer hosted?
Dateline.
Maybe. No, I don't know if it's Dateline. No, Dateline is like with that dude who talks like that. Um,
Oh yeah.
Keith Morrison or something like that. Keith Morris
What is Diane
with the
Sawyer
white
do?
hair. I don't know, but there's one with her, and they it gives enough information, but
Okay.
then there's a few other YouTube videos that people have made, little clips or stuff like that. But I don't remember how, but I know that years ago I was able to watch his a lot of his tape, not a lot, a little bit of his
I
tapes.
wonder if that was that documentary thing that you had watched
I
then.
it must
Mhm.
have been, but I thought it was longer than 70 minutes. I thought like it was like two and a half. I thought it was
Oh,
more
I
like
thought you
3
said
hours.
170 minutes.
No, 70 minutes.
Oh,
I mean, if I find it, I'll link it if anybody wants to watch it. I don't
yeah.
know if, well, you'll link it. I don't, I, I wouldn't recommend it if you're not into that sort of thing. Or maybe, you know what?
Yeah.
Maybe I'll put that on maybe we'll put that on Patreon.
Oh, yeah.
We could do that.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, guys, join our Patreon. Um, Patreon.com/for I have sinned pod.
Yeah.
And you know, if you are watching this video and you've never seen us before, I should have said this in the beginning of the video, like, subscribe, turn on the
Yeah.
notification bell,
Yes.
and stay in the
If
loop.
you if you have a problem with our production quality, then donate money to us and we can buy some green screens and we can
That's
step
right.
up the production.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
We've had some complaints from the peanut gallery. Um, but yeah, you know, if if you want us
If you,
to make
yeah,
these dynamic videos,
yeah, then give
donate
us
and
money.
yeah, pay us and
Yeah,
we'll buy all the equipment.
yeah, I'd be happy to.
Yeah. All right, sinners. Well, you know what we always say,
Stay
stay safe,
safe.
wash
Wash
your
your
hands,
hands.
don't kill your family, and
Yeah,
don't stalk celebrities. I almost said store.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Probably don't stalk anybody.
Don't
You
send
know,
weapons filled with
y-
sulfuric acid.
yeah, yeah, like it's okay to be a fan. But there's a thin line. There's a
There's
thin
a
line.
line. There's a
Yeah,
line.
yeah. Just make sure you do.
Fantasize, fantasize all you want. Don't
Yeah,
act on anything.
that's it.
All right. Bye,
Bye,
sinners.
sinners.